Recording.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to the Road to Region Team BBZ call. Today is Tuesday, October 6th, and we are minus our fearless leader who is cruising around the Caribbean right now. So kudos to her for getting that trip. Trish and I wanted to keep it super short tonight, just in the spirit of the way the meetings were intended to be set up. It's 9:37 right now, so we are going to wrap this up by 9:52, keeping it to our 15-minute time slot. So what what Trish and I thought we should do tonight is just kind of go through and talk about what's been working, what's not been working, and what we really are going to do differently over the next week. So if you're not speaking, maybe you should mute your line so I don't, Trish, can you mute all the lines? And then we just unmute when we want to talk?
Hold on a second. Mute. Okay, I'm speaking. So I guess I'll go first. What's working, what's not working, what are we going to do different? So what's working for me are these calls because it's making me set goals for the week. And I feel so accountable to report out to you guys that I'm kind of like keeping myself on track a little bit. What's not working, I think, I set myself up to get back on track with doing drop-offs, and I'm just really like, it's tough for, like, I shouldn't even say it's tough for me. I'm just not doing the samples and the drop-offs as proactively. So what I'm going to do differently is try to aim to do that earlier in the week, like starting tomorrow instead of waiting until like today, which is what I did. And basically for my goals this week, I had set out to do 2 drop-offs or samples and 4 follow-ups, which I don't know why I said only 4 follow-ups, and 2 events. So I got 2 drop-offs scheduled today. So I didn't actually drop anything off, but I have 2 that are scheduled. I did 12 follow-ups in the last week, and I did book 1 event, and I don't know if I can count this, but we're doing a team event I think in a week or 2, and it's the Cosmetic Graveyard. So I don't know if I can count that as my second event, but I'm actively, inviting people. So in a way, I met my goals for this month or for this week, and I really just want to stay on that 2-2-2. But this time around, I want to do 2 drop-offs. I want to do 2 follow-ups and 2 asks a day. That's what I want to do for this week. All right, so that's me. I'm going on mute. Kelly, you want to go next?
Okay. What's been really working for me is to stop procrastinating. When I need to think of someone to call or email, I call or email them. And it's just been an amazing shift for me to not have to have it hanging over my head. And it's gotten really, really good feedback. I've got my open house tomorrow. I've probably got like 10 people coming in the morning, a handful of people coming at night. So it's really been working well. What's also been working well is the Reading the Badass book is great. So if you guys haven't started that, definitely start it. Yep, Kat's showing it up. Definitely, and read it, and don't set out to read like 30 pages a day. Read 10 and process it. My deliverable for this week was the mission statement, which I went back and dug out, and it's definitely still applicable, but I still need to polish it a little bit, so that'll be my deliverable for next week. Kat, you want to go?
Here I am. Okay, so what's working for me? Keeping track is working for me. What's not working for me is I'm really not setting aside Arbonne time. I'm letting it fit into my nooks and crannies a little bit too freely. I did check off every single thing that was on my list, which I don't have in front of me, but anybody paid attention to it. I have it at home. I just looked at it right before I left, but I got everything done. The last thing I got done was I finally got my, and you guys all hopefully were on the email list. I just included you on it just because of the events for my newsletter, which was a struggle and a half to get that out. Anyway, that's out. But everybody else was checked off. All the people I had to call, I called. Not necessarily saying they called me back, but I did call every single person and contact them. I did get out some samples and a bag of FC5. And I have a date to meet up with her on Friday. Events that I set up is my one for next week. I'm doing my fall open house on Wednesday, which I have to do a lot of follow-ups with that because the invite just went out today, it's like more my, how do I explain? It's in my, I have to do a separate invite because it's in my newsletter. So in case they miss it. So I was on the phone with Arbonne for a couple hours trying to figure out how to upload my mailing list, which you can do, but you have to do it no more than a certain number, but they couldn't tell me what the certain number is. So I'm gonna have to do it in batches of 20 or 50 because they wouldn't let me do the whole list at once. So I have to go back when I get home from New York City on Friday and do that. That's it.
What's your deliverable for next week?
What do you mean by deliverable? I don't understand that.
What's your, like, what are you going to commit to doing? Like, what's your goal?
Oh, you know, I like Trisha's do two asks a day. I like that, to do 2 asks a day. And what was the other 2 product samples per day? Was that what she said?
It was 2 sample. Well, for me, I want to do 2 drop-offs for the week, 2 asks a day, and 2 follow-ups a day.
Okay, I'm going to try to do the same thing. It's going to be a little odd for me because on the next 3 days, I'm going to be in New York City with the samples or things to drop off, but I want to make connections with people to mail out samples to while I'm in New York. I have a whole stack of business cards and a pen to write down people's numbers. So that I'm going to, let's see, if I'm going to be in the city for 2 days, let's say instead of 7, I'll do 5. Sound good? Okay. Who's next? I see Armel on my screen, so I'm going to say she's next.
Armel, you got to unmute.
Sorry, okay. All right, I'm good now, right? Okay. So for me, I think I did like 3 calls. Right now I'm having issues with my cell phone. I think I need a new one. But anyway, I'm pretty good with, I started this, making a list at night. That was, all what I needed to do. But I need to kind of structure it so that it's, what my income producing to do, the 3 people that I need to call. So I'm getting good at it. I mailed those holiday brochure, and I also to like 11 people, and I added our product ingredient policy because I think it's important that people know why we're different from other companies. So I just want to kind of like set that tone, okay, we're not just any other, Arbonne if they don't. I guess I just wanted them to know why we're so different. Because when I call those, these are only existing PCs. So I just wanted them to have that thing to look at. So that went out. But I think for next week, what I needed to, I'm pretty good. I had like a few samples. The thing about it is that I think I need to know better how to approach people, what to say, and I think I'm not probably showing that excitement and be more. I mean, I know we're not in the convincing world, not in the convincing business, but I needed to make it more effective, where they would have to get back to me and, I'm not just wasting my time and their time. I think I need to get better at it, and I need to probably read more about not just, this personal development, but more so on the network marketing business, just, to get that skill set. just to be more professional about our business, because it's gonna, you know, I make calls and most of the time I don't get a call back or, you know, a good response like I would want it to be, and I'm not pushy, you know. So I think I need to kind of I need to get better at what to say and how to market this. So that's my goal for next week. But if you guys have any idea verbiage, I know I need to go back to Durkin. He's a real network marketing guy. I need to dig in my notes because he's got verbiage, and I think for me that's what I need.
Armel, I would suggest kind of revisiting GoPro, Eric Worre.
Yeah, actually, I have that book. I started reading it, and then I put it aside. I think it was probably in first page. I mean, first chapter, and then that was one of the things I actually was in the back of my mind. I need to finish that book. You know, I can't just start something and then put it away. Yeah. And I think there's another book that Nina suggested. Was it that one? Or was there Go for No? Go for No?
Go for No.
Okay, yeah, I get that book. I have tons of books. I just need to stop and really read them all.
Armel, if you're also going to look to market the holiday line, I believe there's a Learn and Burn out now that talks specifically through that. So if you listen to that, you could probably pick up some good phrases and tips on how to do that.
It's in the source?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. I just need to make the time. Thanks.
I actually liked Eric Worre, the GoPro, the audio book, because you hear he's the one that recorded it, and you hear him talking, like actually saying what he says to people. So it kind of like gives you a frame of reference of like just even his intonation and, you know, how he goes about the follow-up steps that he outlines.
Okay. Oh, okay, good. So that's pretty easy. It's a CD. It's an audio
book, yeah.
Okay.
It's great for the commute.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
That's good, Armel. Alice, you want to go?
Okay, so I'll start with what's not working. What's not working is not reflecting on, like at the end of the day, not reflecting on what worked and what didn't work during the day. And also still really not putting everything on my calendar, like not having everything on a schedule with a proper time flow. And what's working for me is my affirmations every morning and reading. This helped a lot. Thank you, ladies. So I did read almost halfway, and really just also just doing it. Like I think the last chapter I read was like being a man of action and just doing the do. And I had the same shift as you, Kelly. I was burdened this week with like all the things that I had to do that if I just did it, it was actually really quicker than thinking about it. So last week, I said I would do 80 follow-ups. I did 6. I did book 2 parties, so 2 gym events. I read. I invited 1 downline for the Road to Region instead of 2, so I'm gonna put that for next week. I wasn't able to submit my asks to Belinda, so I am gonna do that on Sunday. I'm gonna put an alarm on my phone. And then this week, what I want to do is to book 3 more events: 1 cosmetic graveyard, 1 follow-up in house, and there's 1 hanging that I need to follow up with a client, but this is for November. And if I have these events, then of course I would need to send invites and do a lot more follow-ups. So I would really go still for my minimum of 18 follow-ups this week. And then I will reflect at the end of the day, no matter how short it is, like what worked for me and what didn't work for me. that's it. Nina?
That's great, Alice.
That was awesome. Thanks, Alice. Yeah, I kind of agree with Alice with what didn't work. What doesn't work for me right now is not really getting a firm structure on my day and committing to it. Like once I put it down, there's no, no ifs, ands, or buts, sticking to it and just going for it. I think I really need to kind of buckle down on that one. But what is working is the accountability of the calls and, having the readings, knowing that like I need to get the reading done because I'm going to be sharing things with everyone. So I want to get that reading done. Even though sometimes I'm finding it hard to like move on with this particular book. As for what I got done, I did the follow-ups that I said I would do, and I made the PC calls. I didn't necessarily connect with all of them, but I did make the calls. So it's kind of, what I really want to do is for the next session, I want to add on 2 more events for this month. I know I have the cosmetic graveyard, and I've been inviting a lot of people, but I'm thinking maybe have, even if they're one-on-ones, I'm going to call those events for myself just some sort of activity, presentation, whatever, that's scheduled in. And then I'd like at least 2 new PCs or consultants by the end of the month. And that's it.
Those are great, Nina. Good luck.
Thanks.
Bye. Is there anything else, Trish, that you think we should share or talk about? I know our next group get-together is Sunday night on the Team BBZ call. I will be training on Go for No, which is the next topic for the Road to Region leadership series. And then Tuesday we have our Fairfield DA that Alice is hosting, and she's doing a workshop beforehand. And she put together a fabulous invite that she shared with us. And I think that's it. I can't think of anything else that should be highlighted. Can you, Trish?
The only thing I wanted to ask everybody, and you just have to respond with a shake of the head or a nod of the head, is do you feel like at least one of the goals that you set out for this week is making you uncomfortable? Like for me, 2 asks a day is uncomfortable. Follow-ups are easy. Asks are uncomfortable for me. So that's my uncomfortable.
It's
I see Nina shaking her head yes. Kat's shaking her head yes.
No, mine isn't uncomfortable. It's more soul searching. All right, so I have to come up with something uncomfortable for myself.
Alice, you feel uncomfortable a little bit?
I think my major discomfort is not being able to really get into a rhythm of following up my clients, so that when I do have the time to follow up with them, I feel like there's a huge list that I cannot finish. So when I say I will call 80 people to follow up, like existing clients, then I really need to do that because it all adds up. And it ends up like I have some contacts, like I'm really good with asking, but I end up not following up with them because there's like a ton of people to follow up. I think I have a follow-up management issue that I need to work on.
Alice, then you and I need to yin and yang somehow.
Yeah,
I have no problem following up.
No problem asking, just follow
You gotta
up.
get it in your calendar, Alice. The day you ask, you gotta go 3 days out or 1 week out and write it in your calendar. Gotta be in front of you.
Armel, do you feel uncomfortable with your goals?
It's always uncomfortable to call people, especially the ones that are really new. I'm not comfortable emailing, but when it comes to picking up the phone, it's like, it's like, oh, what do I say? I always think I can guess myself, but I know when I just make that first approach, it's like, when it happens and I actually speak to the person, it's like like a heavy burden that just like went away. But that's the thing. I just have to keep doing it.
I think your affirmation right before you dial those numbers is the words will come to me the way they need to. The words will come to me. I think that's your affirmation.
Okay, I think I'm going to put that in my to-do list every day because it's not something I practice every day. For some reason, I read that scroll long one that we got from, I think, Jennifer. Okay, it's next to my mirror, watching or whatever my face. I read that in the morning, but it's that little thing that you put in, it's not something that I wrote, but I need
so maybe
my personal affirmation. That's a good idea. I'm gonna implement that.
I'm gonna modify it. Your affirmation. I trust myself. I speak confidently, and the words will come to me.
Oh, that's a good one.
I like that.
Write that down because it's the what's his name? Rosenthal. That's the one that I memorized.
Jerry, the gold card.
Yeah, remember that training? Yeah, that every now and then I kind of repeat that, but I think I have to really think about, like really just say it in my head out loud and really believe it.
It has to speak to you. It has to be authentic to you. And
yeah, you're right. It's because it's not something that I wrote, so it's just like I'm memorizing it, and it's just like
you have to feel it when you say it.
You have to change the words
going on in my head. I'm doing my information. I'm thinking about something else, so it's really not right. It's gonna.
I have a quick question before we go.
Yeah. Go ahead, Kat.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
It's not showing green, so I can tell if you can hear me. What's the appropriate amount of time to call people over or email them over and over again if you've sent them samples that they were interested in trying and they're not getting back to you, and you keep, hey, how'd it go? Did you get the products? Hey, have you gotten a chance to try it? How many times? How do you ever stop?
I usually do 3 times.
So do I.
And after 3 times, if they're not responding back, you have to just let it go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do the same thing, but I don't take them off the list. So maybe a few months down the road, you just want to check in,
right?
And say, hey, how are things going?
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the sample because it's old news.
Right.
Yeah, kind of be like, oh, I have this event going on. You want to come? Like, if it's like way further out, just be like, to re-pull these people in. I've done that. Not that it necessarily changes anything, but it's another excuse to be able to reach out.
I always think of Sheila Green, right? Because she said no 8 times. And we have no idea over what course of time that was, but you're getting no just by the fact that they're not saying anything to you. But going back to whoever was pursuing Sheila Green, they still at some point followed back up with her after those 3 times anyway.
But Nina brings up a good point. Have something new to follow up on.
Yeah.
It may be a new angle that speaks to them a bit more at that time.
Mm-hmm. And you don't feel as weird. Like
right.
I'm calling about
I had to go back and rewatch this because a bunch of this just got all garbled with switching through the phone zones.
The other thing is if you actually get a chance to speak with them, just ask their permission if they're open to it. I'll even say, hey, listen, I want to make sure that you want to continue, you want me to continue reaching out to you. If you don't, it's no problem. Like, we're still good. But I just want to I don't want to spend any of your time if this is not happening.
Well, I have my newsletter that the emails are on, so they're going to get a soft touch once a month anyway. With my newsletter. Whether or not I'm calling them, I don't want to hound If they get the soft touch, maybe eventually, if they see something on there, then they click on like, oh wait, that's a subtext.
Okay.
So, okay.
All right.
That's all. Okay.
I think we're good.
All right.
We didn't stick to the 15, but I feel like we got some good stuff out of it.
It was productive. That's more
It was 15
important.
minutes
than the
plus
15.
feedback.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Thank you, ladies. Good night.
Bye.
Thanks,
All right.
Elaine.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night,
Thank
guys.
Home,
you.
Kat.
All right, take care.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.